I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the guy named Dan Bilzerian, but he's kind of known as the king of Instagram. He has just like a ungodly amount of Instagram followers, and he's basically like this playboy type character, made a bunch of money gambling, and his Instagram basically consists of him on jet skis with like hundreds of women. And well, he was on the Larry King show not too long ago, and Larry King asked him, "How many times have you had sex?" And Dan replied, "Oh man, I don't even know at this point. Probably thousands of times." And well, judging from Dan Bilzerian's Instagram, I think it's safe to assume that he's not only had sex thousands of different times, but he's probably also had sex with at least 1,000 different women as well. And in this video, I'm here to tell you that I've never had sex with a woman, and I'm not jealous of him. I'm so wasted.
I'm sponsored by God.
So here I am with my cup of hot apple cider to talk to you about sex and the lack of it. It tastes great. It's almost as good as sex. Our culture is so, with the topic of sex, it's so obsessed with it. Like, unbelievably obsessed with it. And it's almost like if you're not having sex, then there's something wrong with you, or you're stupid, or you're just so ugly that you're just pathetic and ought to roll over and die. That's what it seems like a lot of the time, especially when you look at Hollywood. Like Hollywood, I mean, they deify sex more than they deify themselves. And that's saying something, because celebrities, man, they really do think that they are God. But I wanted to make this video for all those people out there who are like me, who have not had sex. I'm 20 years old, and who perhaps are waiting until to get married to have sex, as I am. So no, I have not had sex. I made a joke about this being as good as sex earlier, and the truth is I don't know what I meant by that. But no, I wanted to make this video not to like act as if remaining a virgin until marriage is somehow better than the way other people live, but I wanted to make this video to say no. Whenever somebody is waiting to get married and have sex, that is not something to be made fun of. There are plenty of reasons, and if you think that there are not reasons, then you just don't really think about much, or you haven't really talked to anyone who and really listened to them about why they may want to wait until they get married. Or if you're just a virgin out there who you don't know either way, as far as whether or not you want to have sex before marriage or wait until after marriage. This will just be a good video for everyone, I guess I should say. So, for you all out there who are not virgins, I want you to understand that this video is going to have a little bit of nuance in it. I'm going to start off with my position on why I have chosen to be celibate until marriage, but don't feel like this is an attack on your lifestyle, because it's not. Unless you're a particular kind of person, but I'll get to that later. But anyways, yeah, I just want to start with my position, and then later I will address people who live a little differently from me, people that I respect, and then the people that I don't respect. All right, deal? Okay, are we good there? All right, now that deserves a nice sip from an apple cider. Now, a lot of people grow up and their parents say, "Don't have sex until you're married. Don't have sex until you're married." And then they're like, "Well, why? It seems like it'd be a lot of fun. Do you not want me to have fun?" Okay, since you're not giving any reasons, I'm going to go out and have fun. Screw you. That's what that's a lot of people that grew up in that kind of environment. And I grew up in a pretty religious family, and so my parents told me, wait until you're married before you have sex. And I was kind of accepted that growing up, and my parents did a decent job given reasons for logical reasons for why you might want to wait. But as I've gotten older, some of those reasons I have kept, but a lot of them have been replaced by actual real reasons from my own life, my own experience. And one of those reasons came from my first relationship when I was 16 years old. Yes, imagine this face, this 20-year-old face that looks like it's a 27-year-old face. And just take the beard away, make the hair short, and there you have 16-year-old Carter Brown. My first relationship was with a girl who was 18, and I was 16, so yeah, I dated up. I don't really know how I feel about that, but it's something that I did do. And I dated this girl for 4 months. Her name was, I'm not going to say her last name, but her name was Jordan. One of the things that was really apparent right from the get-go of this relationship, and this is my first experience with a relationship, and it was a wild first one for sure as far as emotional stability goes. This girl, very sweet girl, had a lot of good qualities, but she'd been around a little bit. She had had sex with not a ton of people, but she had had sex with one in particular guy who had really just treated her like a piece of meat. She thought he cared about her. Of course, he did not. And she felt like trash. She felt like a whore. He would ask her to do things that whores do, and she would do them because she had no self-confidence, and she had so much self-hatred. And so she did them. But eventually, after that relationship, she swore off and she didn't want to have sex anymore. And then she dated another guy who was kind of weird, who I think has now become her husband. But he was an okay guy. They did not have sex, and then she dated me. And then I think she went back to that guy who is now her husband. But she dated me. When she got around to me, yeah, like I said, from the get-go, she told me all this, she just vomited all of these details of like how hurt she was and how messed up she was. And from the get-go of the relationship, every single week, it was like either heaven on earth or, oh my gosh, I think we're falling apart. She had so many trust issues because she had let this guy, or there may have been multiple, she was always vague on the details, but she let at least this one guy see her and her at her most vulnerable point. See her completely naked. She let him do whatever he wanted to her, and she gave away her virginity, which was something that she had valued for a very long time. And then she had this guy just basically use it and throw it away as he would use a condom and throw it away. And she was obviously very hurt by that, and she had a ton of psychological issues. Our relationship was so overly serious, and she was 18. You would think that she would have matured by this point, but she had been stunted by these sorts of traumatic events. And I remember thinking while I was in this relationship, I'm really glad that we're not having sex, because I don't want to be one of those guys that a girl like her complains about. Because there are so many guys. Every girl I meet, there's always some guy that had sex with her. They're like, he just wanted to have sex with me. I don't want to be that kind of guy. So that's one of the reasons I learned from that relationship. I did not want to be one of those guys that girls remember as douchebags, okay? Who just use them. I don't even want to give them that reason to dislike me. I'd rather them dislike me for my boyish personality, okay? Not my penis. But another lesson I learned from that relationship was, okay, we dated for 4 months, and whenever we broke up, she broke up with me. 2 days later, I was like having the time of my life. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm out of this relationship. I have so much more free time. I'm getting to read books again because now I have time. I don't have to like coddle this person and make sure that she doesn't cry all the time. I don't have to do that. I had freedom. I was a free man, ladies and gentlemen, and I was enjoying it. But I remember something coming out of that relationship. The reason I got over her so quickly, and I didn't think I was going to get over her so quickly, but I got over her extremely quickly, because I came out of this cloud of emotion that I had been in for that 4 months of this lovey-dovey honeymoon relationship sort of stuff. And whenever we broke up, I just kind of came out of this illusion, and I was able to look at how crazy that relationship was, and I was like, man, were you insane to stay in that relationship? And I was for so long. I should have, honestly, I should have broken up with her like a month or two, but I didn't do that because it was my first girlfriend, and you know, I was kind of living in that world of, oh gosh, is it ever going to happen again? What's funny is I haven't dated anyone since, so I'm not doing too well. But the thing is yeah, I came out of this cloud of emotion, and I was able to look at that relationship and go, that was whack. That was crazy. I'm going to leave that behind, and I'm going to live my life the way I ought to live my life and be happy. But one of the things I remembered is I was like, okay, I've been able to get over her within just a couple days, 2 days. That's whenever I really felt like I was a free man. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, if I had been having sex with Jordan for 4 months, I probably would not have gotten over her for 4 more months. Honestly. Because one of the things if you do any research on sex, is sex actually bonds you to the person that you're with. That's why it's recommended for young married couples to have sex often, because it strengthens the relationship. And so it's a very powerful thing. And that's why when you see, as I've seen my whole life, people who are having sex in their relationship, when they break up, it is so much worse than if they had not been having sex at all. Like, it's like they are literally being torn in two, because that's what's happening psychologically. Their body, it's like bonded to the other person. And so if I had been having sex with my girlfriend for 4 months and then just broke up, I would have been wrecked. I know how I am. I'm an emotional person, and I would have been wrecked. I would have been totally messed up. But I remember thinking, I was like, I'm so glad I did not have sex with her and give away my virginity to her, because number one, this is going to sound harsh, but she didn't deserve it, okay? She just didn't, and I knew it would have been a regret for me my whole life if I had given that away to her, and then just a couple months later we break up. That would have been really sad for me, and I would have had a lot of regret. And I just I would have felt like I had just royally misused something that was special. And so that relationship taught me a whole lot about why I want to wait until I get married. Okay, and another reason that has come about to me that I really learned through experiences, with every girlfriend that I date in the future, hopefully it won't be too many, but with every woman that I date in the future, I don't want my relationship to be about her vagina, and I don't want her relationship towards me to be about my penis. I want it to be about the relationship, like who we are. Are we really good for each other as people? Because one of the things I notice with a lot of people is they stay in relationships that they should not be in because they're having sex with that person, and it's clouding their judgment. And it's like distracting them from the actual problems that they need to deal with. Sex can come later. That can come later whenever you get married, and you can figure out that whole thing. That'd be fun to figure that out whenever you get married. But while you're dating, the way my mind goes nowadays is I'm like, I don't want my emotional relationship to be caught up in this other physical relationship that could corrupt my emotional relationship. I want to have a clear view of what I'm actually dealing with, or who I'm actually dealing with in the situation. Also, just a quick other reason, I don't want to risk the chance of impregnating somebody before I'm ready. Okay, I'm not ready to be a father, not at all. Not in any way, shape, or form am I ready to be a father. And yes, birth control has gotten better and better and better. Yeah, I know, like birth control with condoms, yeah, it's very unlikely that you'll, knock up the other person with a baby. But it still does happen, and I don't want to risk it. I don't want to have to throw away all my hopes and dreams because I accidentally got a little got a little too excited one night with a woman and got her pregnant, and then I have to quit all the other life plans I have for my 20s, okay? So that's another reason. And also, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps the biggest reason why I think it's a good idea to wait until you get married to have sex is sex used to be reserved for marriage. It really was. That was the way it was done, at least in America. And I mean, my grandparents waited. Most old people you talk to who are still married, they waited. As far as I know, my grandparents waited. I haven't talked to them about it. I'm just assuming, but we've talked about sex before, and it seemed like they had waited. But who knows? But most old married couples, that's what they did. That's the way things were done. It wasn't until the 1960s that people were like, all right, well, let's just have sex with everyone and everything. At least as far as I understand the history of this. But sex used to be reserved for marriage. That's what I'm essentially trying to say. And, well, some people are like, oh, why would you want to wait? Why? It's so great, right? Why would you want to wait until you get married? Sex is extremely powerful. We've understood that. What doesn't make sense to me is what Hollywood and just the media does about sex. They simultaneously say it's like the greatest thing ever, and then they, at the same time, say it doesn't mean anything at all. Do it with everyone. It does not make any sense, okay? And the reason I want to wait until I have sex in marriage is I want my wedding night to be a special night, okay? If you have sex with your girlfriend 1,000 times and then you get married, what is so special about that sex? I mean, seriously. Like, you got a ring on your finger? Big deal. I can put a ring on anytime, okay? I mean, sure, it'll obviously be more special just because it's your wedding night and you've made this big decision, but there's nothing new to see, okay? There's no big surprise. There's nothing new to learn. You know what you're getting. You're just going into the office. It just happens to be a holiday, though. That's all it really is, okay? That's all it seems like, from my perspective, is there's nothing new under the sun. You've already seen what's under her shirt. She's already seen your penis. You guys have already done it. You're just doing it again. It just is an exceptionally happy day is the only difference. Okay? But if you wait your whole life and you've never seen a girl naked and you've never touched a girl naked, you never had sex with a girl, when that wedding night comes around, I mean, like, I'm going to be terrified. I will be terrified. And she will be terrified too. And that's not a bad thing. Because when you first see each other, it's going to mean something. It's going to mean a lot, okay? And the whole line, and the idea is that when you wait for that special wedding night, you're not going to be good at it. You're not going to be good at sex at that point because you've never done it before. But the whole idea in the relationship is that you will get good at it together. And that there's also no expectations at the beginning. Okay, I don't want whoever my wife is to feel like she has to measure up to the other women I have had sex with, okay? And I don't want my wife to think that I have to measure up to the other men that she has had sex with, okay? I want it to be something where it's like, never seen that before. I mean, I want it to be a totally special experience, a truly life-changing experience, because nobody ever forgets the first time, I am told. Anyways, I haven't had my first time, so I don't truly know, but pretty sure I would remember it if I penetrated somebody while they were naked. And so, yeah, the idea is that you will grow together. You will physically come together and even more so emotionally come together. I mean, and you strengthen that bond, and you are now, the whole phrase in the Bible is you've become one flesh, and that's this whole sort of thing. I want that to be like a reality for me. And that idea I don't think is so radical or revolutionary or crazy. I actually think it's a pretty normal, easy idea to understand. But if you pay attention to like what people say in the media and on TV, they say, Don't you want to get like good at it before you tie the knot, man? I mean, you don't like, you don't, buy a car without test driving it. That's like an old saying, or something like that. Yeah, as if people are cars. As simple and as cliche as that sounds, it's a good point. As if people are cars. It's dehumanizing when you just treat people as a piece of meat or as like a new model of a car, okay? And as I said, I want my wedding night. I don't want to be good at it before I get married. I don't want to get good at it before that wedding night. I want to get good at it with my wife. And I want it to be a very special experience for us. And so that's basically like my my virginity case or whatever. There's some other reasons. One of them is a particularly personal, familial reason. I'm not going to share with the internet because it's the internet. But that's essentially, those are essentially my reasons. I mean, it's just like, I think sex is either something that's meaningless or it's something that's extremely meaningful. And I think it's extremely meaningful. And so does biology and all this other stuff. But now to address the non-virgins in the room who may think that I'm being a little bit lacking in nuance here, I want to address you guys right now. That's some good apple cider. Look, I want to stay a virgin until I get married, but at the same time, I don't want anyone to feel like I am telling them that they need to do that, or that it's particularly awful for them not to wait. Because I don't think it is. I have many friends who have girlfriends and who have sex with their girlfriends, and they really care about their girlfriend really cares about them. They treat sex as something special, as something meaningful, something that should be protected. And they are great guys, okay? And I'm very happy for them, and I'm happy that they are doing well. Now, as I said before, if they break up, I'm willing to bet it's gonna be a much worse breakup than if they had waited. But I have total respect if your attitude towards having sex before marriage is one out of actual love and care for the other person that you're with, no qualms with you, no problem at all. But if you're a Dan Bilzerian type and you sleep with 1,000 women, you don't remember their names, or you're like a Tinder guy who, orders up a woman who's like, yeah, man, so I like 3 bitches 3 days this weekend. I just want to say something to you right now. Come here. You're a whore. This double standard that we have in our society, where if a woman sleeps with like 3 men in her entire life, she's considered a slut, whereas a man sleeps with 6 women in 6 weeks, 6 different women in 6 weeks. This double standard where the woman is considered a slut and the man is considered a stud is ridiculous. I think we should just have a standard. You are either a whore or you are not a whore, okay? There should not be this double standard. Unfortunately, what we have now today is we still have that whore and stud thing, and instead of women saying, hey guys, you are the whores, stop getting on to us, a lot of women are like, yeah, we can be whores too. I don't think it's healthy. If you want to be a whore, if you want to live that way, whatever, I don't care, but I don't really respect the sentiment of sleeping around. The casual sex phenomenon of simply using people for their genitalia and then forgetting about them is retarded. It's so stupid. How do you, I don't understand it either. It's like, why would you, it's not cool. Like, it's really not. Being an uncaring son of a gun who sleeps around with a bunch of women and then just says peace out, never remembers their name or anything like that, doesn't care about them, just using them as a cum holster. I don't have respect for people who are like that. If you are one of those people, you can change, you can stop right now, stop treating sex as if it's something that means nothing, and stop treating people as if they mean nothing, okay? Because people do mean something. And whenever they get naked for you, you should have a certain level of respect and care for that person that goes beyond just a one-night stand. And if you don't, then I don't have respect for you. If you're one of these, like I said, if you're a Tinder whore, if you are a man whore, you can change. And I hope that you do change. But you know, if you're Dan Bilzerian type, I don't respect Dan Bilzerian. He is not a good guy. He uses people, and yes, a lot of the women that are around him, they use him too, and that's not good either, but he uses people like they are toys, and I don't respect that. Also, and one more thing about, okay, this is something that men do a lot. They require, and also women do this as well, but let's make no mistake here, one of the gender differences, men have stronger sex drives, and I have met far more men who have required sex for a dating relationship versus women who have required sex for a dating relationship. I want you to think about this, because I was thinking about this the other day. If you require sex in a dating relationship, if you're like, this is priority number one, if you don't have sex with me, then we're done. If you're one of those people, and I have met these people before, and I do not have respect for them, at least in this regard, but if you're one of those people, I want you to think about what you're really saying. You are saying that unless you get naked for me, I do not want to see you. I do not want to talk to you. I do not want to be in a dating relationship with you. That is what you're saying. You're saying either get naked or get out. And now I want you to realize that is so damn creepy. You're basically doing a Harvey Weinstein, okay? Except for there's no role that you're offering in exchange. What you're offering is, oh, I'll say I love you as long as you suck my dick. If you're one of those guys, just realize you're like a casting couch guy without a movie to cast. That's what you are. If sex is going to be in a relationship, it should never be a requirement in a dating relationship. Now for marriage, sex, as I said, was always like reserved for marriage, so obviously, and it's also like the way you consummate a marriage, so obviously sex in a marriage would be somewhat of a requirement, at least in some way. But in a dating relationship, it should not be a requirement. It should be either something that you agree to not do, something that you agree to do, or something that either party doesn't care either way. It should not be a priority, though. It should not be like, oh hey, let's do it, or there's the door. I want to get back to the people that I do respect. As I said, if you're a person who treats sex in a relationship as something that is special, and you decide to do that before marriage, I have respect for you. I don't like judge you or anything like that. I think I will avoid a lot. I will avoid a lot of the drama you will probably have to put up with. But I don't say, oh, I am better than you or anything like that. I just think I'm probably not going to get hurt as bad. But if that's a risk you want to take, fine by me, as long as you actually give a shit about the person that you're with. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I have illustrated my point somewhat in this video. It was very difficult for me to illustrate it well, I think, just because I have so many thoughts about it. But the title of this video, Should Virgins Be Made Fun Of? I think it's clear that the answer is no, they should not. I think people that make fun of virgins for being virgins ought to be made fun of. That's what I think. Because there are reasons to wait. You may not have these reasons, as you may not hold these reasons, and that's fine. But thinking that somebody who is wanting to wait to have sex until marriage, thinking that that's just a totally preposterous and retarded idea, I think is ridiculous. And that's kind of the point of this video. And so I hope you enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I offered some nuance. I certainly was trying to. And I hope you guys got something out of it, as to, why this video really came to mind. It was the Dan Bilzerian thing, but I also was just like, I kind of want to talk about more meaningful stuff on this channel. So in the comment section below of this video, if you have a topic that you want me to talk about that doesn't necessarily have to do with movies or books, but you know, it's something that you would want to hear my perspective on, leave it in the comment section below. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and never forget to be